Okay, page number 20, okay, from the student's book. Let me know, please, when you are ready to go. Yeah, ready? So today we're gonna start this lesson by checking this grammar part that runs in infinitives, okay? And for that, I'm gonna show you actually this explanation. Let's go little by little, and if you have any question, let me know, okay? So, we have so many uses when it comes to use gerunds, okay? So, as the subject, object, or complement of a sentence, we use three uses here. As a subject, you can see their example. Reading in the car makes me feel sick. We are here, okay? In this part. As you can see here, we are talking about reading as the thing, as the object, the subject of the sentence, okay? As the fact of reading in the car. And then we have as an object. And there you are, one example. I find shopping for clothes really boring. In this case, we are talking about shopping as the object or the sentence. And we can use it as well as a complement. My favorite sport is swimming. In this case, is the complement of the sentence. So far, it's not that difficult. Then we have the use of the gerunds after prepositions. As you can see here, I'm not very good at making things. Or, for example, you can say, yesterday I was walking around my my house or my neighborhood and I come across someone that was looking at me. Okay? Whenever you use a preposition, you have to put the verbs in ing form. So don't forget, whenever you use a preposition, at, after, of, for, and those kinds of prepositions. To is a preposition in get used to and look forward to as well. This is the phrasal verb looking forward to, as you can see here. I'm looking forward to seeing Millie again. As you can see here, in this phrasal verb to works as a preposition. That is why we have to use the ing form of the verbs. This is so important. After certain verbs, like admit, okay, I suggest you that you should take notes of this because specifically from these verbs, we use the ing form of the verbs, okay? Admit, adore, avoid, can't help, can't stand, consider, delayed, denied, dislike, enjoy, feel, like, finish, give up, imagine, involve, keep, mind or don't mind, miss, put off, prevent, regret, resist, risk, and suggest. Whenever we use these verbs and immediately another verb, we have to put it in the ing form, as you can see here. In the example, Liz suggested going out, but I feel like staying in. And that's it. Only after these verbs, these specific verbs. So there you are. Then we have number 4. After the following expressions. Have no difficulty, have no problems, have no trouble in, or there is no use, or it's no use, it is worth, or it is not worth, or there is no point in. Whenever you use these expressions, you have to use the ing form of the verbs. As you can see there, if you have trouble getting to sleep, it is no use crying. By the way, it is not use or it is not worth or there is no point in, it means that it is useless to do something. Okay? That's it. Then we have the infinitive with to is used for the following uses. To express purpose. That is the first one. I am learning English to help me get better at job. That is the first one for purpose. The infinitive. And as in the gerund, we have the certain verbs, adjectives in this case, that we can use it as well. These are these ones. Difficult, easy, important, lovely, unnecessary, normal, impossible, unusual or usual, delighted, disappointed, unhappy, sad, and surprised. Okay, after all of these adjectives, we have to use the infinitive. I was surprised to hear she had failed the exam. And that's it. So far, do you have any question? No? Is everything clear about that? Okay, I'm gonna deliver you a list so that you can check, okay? I'm gonna send you, yeah, I'm gonna make a list and then I'm gonna show you, okay? After the lesson. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so we are in here. After number three, okay? In this part. After certain nouns, yeah, like ability, chance, decision, failure, idea, opportunity, plan, refusal, right, in a way. For example, it was a good idea to come to this restaurant. Or I have the ability to read very fast, for example. You know, after these nouns, you have to use the infinitive of the verbs. And as well, we have some certain verbs like afford, like agree, such as appear, arrange, choose, decide, demand, deserve, hope, learn, manage, offer, pretend, promise, refused, seem, and threatened, that we have to use the infinitive of the verbs. For example, he offered to give me a lift, but I decided to walk. Or he promised not to tell anyone what she said. In this case, we have to use the infinitive. And as well with some verbs, a direct object is needed. For example, advise, allow, enable, encourage, force, invite, order, persuade, recommend, remind, teach, tell, and warn. Whenever you use these verbs, you have to put the object pronoun, as you can see here. My job enables me to use my language skills, or I recommend you to do something, for example. And after some verbs can be used with or without a direct object, as you can see here. Ask, expect, help, need, want, would like, good love, would hate, and would prefer. After this, we have to use as well the infinitive. I want to go home and I want you to come with me. In some cases, help can also be used with an infinitive without to. In some cases. Number five, in place of a relative clause after phrases like the first, the second, the next, the last, the only, plus a noun. That is so important, plus a noun. So don't forget. As you can see here, Marie Curie was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize, or my friend was the last man to get into the competition. This way you can use it. After second, first, the next, the last, the only, and a noun. Then we have the infinitive without to, which is used after modal verbs, as you know. You can look at it, but you mustn't touch it. After modal verbs, we don't have to use any preposition. Okay, so don't forget. And after help, let, make, would rather, had better, as you can see here. We had better leave. It's late. Or I would rather stay though. By the way, did you know this expression that is very common in the Beaton first exam? You had better, or we had better, or I had better. No? Yes, for making suggestions, right? Perfect. Yes, that is. This expression is very common in this kind of certification exams. Number one, verbs followed by a gerund or an infinitive as well. You can use the gerund or the infinitive in both cases, okay? With to. And there you are. Quite, really like, love, hate, prefer are usually followed by the gerund, but infinitive with to is also possible. I absolutely love going, or I absolutely love to go for long walks in the hills. You can use any of them, either the gerund or the infinitive. Then we have the infinitive with to, which is common after hate for specific situations. And after like, when it means to be able or to be in the habit of, as you can see there. I hate to interrupt, but we really must be going. Or I like to have a shower when I get home from work. In those cases, you can use it as well. Number two, after begin, start, continue, intend, these verbs can be followed by the gerund or the infinitive with to, with no change in meaning. For example, she fell over and she started crying or she started to cry. It doesn't matter if you put it like this. Okay? Number three, we have the following verbs: forget, remember, mean, need, stop, and try can be followed by the gerund or the infinitive with to, but with a change in meaning. This is so important. In this case, the meaning changes. Remember plus the gerund, it's the meaning is recall a previous option. I remember coming here when I was young, as you can see here. But in the next case, forget plus the gerund is not often used for actions you do not recall. Instead, not remember is used. For example, I don't remember seeing Jim at a party. As you can see here, the meaning changes a little bit. After remember or forget plus the infinitive, it means not to remember what you have to do. For example, remember or don't forget to feed the car later. That is the way. Then we have mean, the verb mean, plus the gerund, which means involve. Dieting usually means giving up things you enjoy. Or mean plus the infinitive means intent. I mean to intend the electrician, to phone sorry the electrician, but I forgot it. Intent, it's like you want to try to do something. And then we have need plus the gerund, which means passive meaning. As you can see here, this house needs painting. Okay, it means that this house needs to be painted. Or I need to get some new shoes. In this case, is an active meaning. It's an action that you have to do. Then we have stop plus the gerund, which means no longer do something. I have stopped smoking because it is too expensive. It means that you are not going to do that again. Then we have stop plus the infinitive, interrupt one activity to do another. Let's go. Let's stop to buy some sweets on the way home. Then we have try plus the gerund, which means experiment to see what will happen. For example, you can say try resting for a while because you might feel better then. It is to express like future. And then we have try plus infinitive, which means attempt or try to do something as well. As you can see here, Alan tried to stop the thief as he ran away. And finally, we have some expressing general preferences. When we use much, prefer, plus the gerund or the infinitive, we can use like this. I much prefer playing basketball to watching it. It's like a comparison. Or I much prefer to play basketball rather than watch it. And that's it. And then finally we have preferences on specific occasions. In this case we use would, and then much, and then prefer, plus the infinitive with to. And you can see here, I would prefer to walk to school today rather than go by bus. Just like that. And good, plus much, plus rather, plus infinitive without to. This has the same meaning as would prefer to. It's exactly the same. I would rather not to talk about at the moment, or I'd much rather do nothing all day than go to school. And that is all regarding the uses of gerunds in infinitives. Now, it's time to put it into practice. So let's go back to the student's book on exercise 1. And you have to tell me why a gerund or why an infinitive without to or an infinitive with to is used in every single sentence. We have the number 1, as you can see here. The UK became the first country in the world to recognize parkour as a sport. We have recognized to recognize. The infinitive with to is used in place of a relative clause after the first, plus a noun. And here it means that the first country which recognized parkour was the UK. In this case, that is the explanation. What is the explanation, my dear sir? Number 2, its participants are capable of leaping to improbable heights. Why do we use leaping, the gerund here? Are you there? Yeah. Number 2, why do we use capable of leaping, the gerund in that sentence? Why? What is the reason in this time? Yeah. But in this case, capable of leaping, we use it because of is a preposition. And that is why we use the gerund of leaping, of playing, of working, of sleeping, whatever. Whenever you use a preposition, you have to put the verbs in ing form. That is the reason in this sentence, okay? So let's go over number 3. I was a nervous kid who liked playing video games. Why do we use playing? Can we say who liked to play video games? Yeah, because like accepts the gerund or the infinitive as well. Yeah, that is. In infinitive, yes, perfect. Number 4. It seemed to be, it seemed to be a lot of people who didn't fit in with more conventional stuff. Why do we use in this case to be, the infinitive? It seemed to be. Yes, yes, as well. Then we have Meg rented a gym to practice parkour. In this case, gym, it is not a verb, right? Why do we use to practice parkour? Do you remember the explanation that I told you? It is like a little bit more. Mick rented a gym to practice parkour. Do you remember that we use the gerunds, sorry, the infinitives, for purpose, to practice, to sleep for purpose, okay? To do something. There we use to, so don't forget. In number six, finally, Parkour can extend its work in schools. Why don't we use to or the gerund after it can? In this case, okay, what is can? What kind of verb is can, my dear Sarah? Yes, that is a modal auxiliary verb. That is why we don't have to use neither infinitive, neither gerund. Okay? So after the modal verbs, we don't use it anything. Only the verb in the base form, and that's it. So there we go. Anyways, you were asking me to send you the verbs, right? But if you go on page number 206, you have all these verbs, this explanation on that. Can you go? Can you check on page number 206? Yes, that is. On the student's book, of course. 206. Let me see. I'm gonna look for it as well to have 206. When you receive, yes, there you are. As you can see here, on page number, yes, there you are. All this explanation that I gave you, okay, so that you can check. There you are. All of the verbs that admit the gerunds, the infinitives as well, and all of that. There you are. Yes. Just let me go back. Yeah, there you are. So let's go over the exercise number 3. Okay. One way of talking about your likes and dislikes is to use verbs such as love or hate, which are followed by a gerund. And certain adjectives can be also used like together with a preposition or a gerund. In the exercise 1 to 6, we have to complete the first gap with a word from the box. These ones. Okay? This one here and this one here. As you can see, some examples has been done for us. Number 1 is I don't really enjoy going for walks because I just can't get excited about being in the open air. As you can see, and as you probably know, about is a preposition, and that is why we use ing for being in this case. So let's go over with the next one. Number 2, I mind listening to jazz now and again, but I wouldn't be interested going to a concert. We have to complete the sentence with the words that we have here. So tell me, yes, I don't mind. Yes, I don't mind listening to jazz, but I wouldn't be interested in going. Perfect. In going. Perfect. Number 3, I love cooking and I'm especially fond of baking cakes. In this case, has been done the example. What do you think is before love? I would say that it could be I absolutely love cooking, right? Yes, I absolutely love cooking and I'm especially fond of baking cakes. And by the way, have you ever heard about this phrase? Fond of. Yes, I absolutely love cooking. But do you know what it means fond of? Because this is another expression that is very common in this kind of exams. Fond of. It says, I'm especially fond of baking cakes. Do you know the meaning of this phrase? Fond of means a very that you like the most, that you really like something. For example, I would say, instead of saying I really like playing football, for example, I would say I really fond of playing basketball, for example, that you really like something. It is an advanced way to say instead of saying I like. In a B2 level or in advanced level, we say I fond of instead of saying I like. That is. Mhm. So try to use it on the exam, especially when you are delivering the speaking part. Try not to say only I like to go. Try to say I fond of traveling, I fond of cooking, I fond of listening to music and whatever. Okay, this is so useful. And number four, yes, the gerund. Because we have the preposition of, and all of the verbs have to be in ing form. Number four, I like, right, watching basketball, but I'm not very good at playing it. What do you think is before like? We have count, much, quite, at, of. Quite can be. Yes, it could be right. I quite like watching basketball. Like you really like. Yeah. Then we have I prefer. Number five. I prefer watching films at home because I have never been very keen going to the cinema. Yes, keen on. Keen on. Keen on. It's let's put it like this. In B1 level, we say I like, for example. Okay. In a B2 level, we say fond of. But in a more advanced level, we say keen on. Those are synonyms. I like, fond of, and keen on. That is. Yes. If you want to sound more like a native speaker, you can say I'm keen on something. I'm keen on cooking. I'm keen on reading books at nights. I'm keen on studying English. I'm keen on studying French, whatever. But whenever we use fond of in keen on, the verbs have to be in the ing form. And that's it. Yes, always. It's a rule. Yes. What do you think is? We have count, much. I think it's much. I much prefer. Yes, I much prefer watching films because I have never been keen on going to the cinema. And finally, the last one, number six. I stand playing board games with my family, but I never get bored playing games on my phone. Yes, I can understand. Perfect. But I never get bored. And we have off, get bored of playing games. Yes, get bored of. Anyways, we're going to check the right answers. Sorry, to get bored of. To say estar aburrido de. O sentirse aburrido de in Spanish. That is the meaning. But it is not of, it is with. Yes, there you are the answers. Number two, sorry, is I don't mind. I was right. And I would be interested in going. Number three is absolutely love cooking, fond of. I quite like basketball. We were right. Because I'm not very good at playing it. I much prefer. Keen on. I can understand. And I will never get bored with. It's a collocation. It's always get bored with. Which means aburrirse de. Aburrirse de with. Get bored with. That is the meaning. Yes. Hmm. So let's keep going. We're going to practice some speaking, okay? So, you are going to tell me how true are the sentences or the statements from 1 to 6 that we did it right now for you. What of them or which one of them are true for you? You go for a walk in the countryside, you don't listen to jazz music, or do you love cooking, or do you like watching basketball, or do you prefer watching films? Which sentences are true for you? For your life, of course. Number 3 and number 4. Tell me about number 3. What do you like to cook? Yeah, that is. And tell me, do you prefer watching sports on TV or would you prefer playing them? Oh, really? Do you like to play them, to do exercise? Are you an active person? What about watching films at home? Do you like to do it? What about watching films or movies at home? I mean, with your family or with your friends or I don't know. Tell me about that. What kind of, yeah, what kind of, oh, yeah, yeah. Tell me, sorry. Yes, perfect. I I make you practice this kind of speaking exercises because especially in the speaking part one the examiner is going to ask you random questions about something about your favorite movies, your favorite free time activities, what you like to do, where do you like to travel, what are your goals in your life, and you have to make neither short answers, neither longer so long answers. It has to be, you have to make a balance. For example, the very most common question in the B2 first exam is the examiner is going to ask you. The first question is like this. If I tell you, my dear Sarah, how could you answer this? Tell me about yourself. That is what the examiner is going to ask you. Tell me about yourself, your name, how old are you, where do you live? So how could you answer this? Let's see. Yes, that is perfect. Sorry, another common question just to be this one. The examiner is going to ask you only where do you live? Where do you live? How would you answer that? Yes, that is. It is okay the way that you did it, okay? But it is, you don't have to, you have to go straight to the point, okay? You don't have to like describe the city or not. For example, a good way to do it is like this. For example, if the examiner asks me, where do you live? What I tell her or tell him is the following. Okay, I live in Ibarra City and I have been living here for the last 25 years. And but I yes, for the last 25 years. And but I would like to move on to another country on the future. And that's it. Like that. Not too short and not too long. Okay? That is the rule. You have to do it like this. Just an advice so that you can take into account. And that is why we have to practice the speaking part 3 of the B2 first exam, which is the collaborative task. That is the name, that is what it's called. In this case, the examiner, one thing, would you like once you are going to certificate, would you like to choose the paper-based exam or the computer-based exam? Yes. What are you gonna choose? Yeah, that is the computer. It's like it's more comfortable and like you are going to type your answers faster. Because if you choose the paper base, it's like you have another sheet, another answer sheet, and you have to look for the answer, and then apart in another sheet you have to write the answers. Like it takes more time. Yes, that is why you should take the computer base. So in the speaking part, the examiner is going to give you to the hand in a sheet of paper in which is going to be this map. As you can see, like it's like a mind map, right? In the middle is going to be a question, as you can see here, and around them, 5 options. And you with your partner, because you are going to take the exam with a person that you, of course, you don't know, and you have to discuss about the following options, the 5 options, in 2 minutes. That is important. In 2 minutes. Once you reach 2 minutes talking about, the examiner is going to stop you both, and the examiner is going to give you 1 minute so you can reach to an agreement about what is the most important option or what is the best option according to the topic, of course. And for example, we have here, how important are these for our personal happiness? And the options are being physically fit, having a lot of money, doing job you like, having good friends, or listening to good music. So right now we are going to practice in 2 minutes, okay? What are the best options for our personal happiness, okay? Some important here, something that is so important here. This is an interactive conversation. It is a very, very terrible mistakes that students make when doing this part. For example, if you talk for, I don't know, 30 seconds or 40 seconds first, and then the other person, your partner, is going to talk alone for another 30 seconds, that is a mistake because this is a conversation, an interactive conversation. Okay? That is so important. You have to speak each other. Okay? So let's go. How important are these for our personal happiness, my dear Sarah? Yes, one by one. We have to talk about one by one. Yes. Yes. Of course, yeah. What about having a lot of money? Do you think having a lot of money is going to make you happy? Yeah. Yes, you can buy so many things. You can. Yes, that is perfect. Um, but what do you think is more important? Perfect. What do you think is more important? Having good friends or doing a job you like? Yes, that is. And what about being physically fit? Do you think it's important to look like you want to look well? I mean, physically. Shape, perfect. Mhm. Yes, because yes, hormones. Yes, of course. To practice exercise or to go to the gym makes you feel better. Of course, anywhere, anyways. All right. So now we have 1 minute to reach to an agreement on what is the best option for our personal happiness. According to me, yes, personally, I think that having good friends it's so important because in the end, being physically having a lot of money, doing the job you like, or listening to good music, it's something that it's relative. But having people next to you that are going to support you whenever you need, it's so important. What do you think? Yes, it's like your friends are your family, your second family, right? So, so we agree on this, right? Perfect. That is the way that you have to do it with your partner. Okay, whoever would be your partner, sorry, you are going to reach to an agreement in 1 minute. Okay, so don't forget. Do you think it's difficult for you to reach a conversation, to hold a conversation for 2 minutes, and then for 1 minute to reach the agreement? Yes, that is why. Some another thing here, one observation. It is important to use these speaking fillers For example, we are human beings. Of course, we make mistakes because you get nervous or whatever, okay? That is so important to use the fillers, the speaking fillers. For example, instead of saying like this, or like hesitating, just you have to use, for example, mm, let me think. That is a good question. Or it was on the tip of my tongue. Or let me think. It's something interesting. So that you can think of what you forget. Okay? That is so important. And specifically in this part, you don't have to let your partner to speak all of the time. You have to get into the conversation as well because otherwise your score will be affected in the exam. Okay? You have to interrupt your partner, of course, politely, and you have to get into the conversation. That is so important. So take that in mind. That is okay. And the speaking part four. This is the last part of the exam, and this is called the further discussion. In this part, the examiner is going to ask you questions with are related, of course, to the topic three, to the part three. Okay, and you have to discuss with your partner about the questions that the examiner is going to ask you. For example, we were talking about happiness, and the questions are going to be related to happiness, of course. So we're going to practice this. My dear Sarah, what other things make you feel happy apart from the five that we discussed right now? Mm-hmm. What else? For example, in my case, apart from money, of course, um, well-being, well-being and health, to see and to make sure that my family is it's okay, they're fine, they are reaching their goals. That is so important for me. Okay. What about or what do you think having longer holidays would make people feel happier? Do you agree on this? Do you think that having longer holidays or vacation would make people feel happier? Yes, perfect. That is, of course, I agree as well. Some people say that the best way to be happy is to make other people happy. What do you think about this? Do you practice this? Do you make other people to feel happy? And apart from your family, do you try to make other people to feel happy or only you care about your family? Yes, of course. We as teachers, we have to make a better society, of course. Thank you so much. The next one. If something is making you feel unhappy, is it better to talk about with it with your friends or with your family? What do you prefer to talk about with your friends or your family when you are unhappy, when you don't feel so good? He is your confidant. Perfect. There you are. The next one. Some people like listening to happy music when they feel happy, of course, and sad music when they feel sad. Do you think it is true? Yeah, I know. Yes. But sometimes it can be not so weird to listen to sad music when you're happy. Because, for example, if there is a band or a kind of music that you really like, you can listen to them, even if it's sad music and if you are happy. But it's most commonly used when you are happy, listening to happy music, and sad when you are sad music. Okay? So, the last one. Do you think it is possible to be happy all of the time? Yes. Yes, but for example, what do you think about these people's mindset that say that when you are getting into problems, that you're having trouble with something, you have to smile and to be happy whenever it's going on or whenever it is happening. You have to smile, and you have like to feel like you are good even if you have problems. What do you think about that? A strong personality, a powerful mindset. Yes, perfect. That is so. Today, with this one, it's over this lesson, okay? And as a homework so that you can practice this weekend, can you remember what was the pages that I sent you as a homework? It was 12 and 13, right? 12 and 13 was the homework that I sent you the last class. Yes, right? Yes, yes, yes. So now, as a homework, you have to carry out pages 14, yeah, only 14, 14 from the workbook. Yes. Okay. Yeah. But I told you that it is on page number 106 on the student's book. Can you check please? They are all of them. Yes, here, there you are. Please, right now, go on page number, yeah, 206 on your student's book. There you are, all of those verbs. Yes. 206. 206. Ahí tenemos todos los verbos que aceptan gerundios e infinitivos. Ahí están. Incluso están los usos. Exacto. Entonces ahí tenemos todo, está ahí. Aquí están contenidos todos. Los que aceptan gerundio, los que aceptan infinitivo y los que aceptan ambos. Y también las reglas que tenemos aquí. Exactamente. Escogí este libro para esta preparación con ustedes porque este libro contiene la mayor cantidad de estructuras gramaticales y el vocabulario que aparece en el examen B2. Es excelente este libro. Hay otros, ¿ya? No, sí, eso nada más. Dígame. Sí, nosotros tenemos el instituto acá en Quito. Bueno, en mi caso yo trabajo de manera presencial y en línea también. Entonces trabajamos un B1. Eh, los horarios yo no los manejo, la verdad. Como le había comentado, el licenciado José es el que maneja este tema. Licenciado José Nasser. Entonces, usted puede comunicarse con él, ¿sí? Pueden acordar un horario, no sé, la situación, explicarle y luego él me puede asignar a mí un horario para abrir un curso, ¿sí? De preparación, ya sea A1, B1, A2, cualquiera, ¿sí? Entonces yo estoy a las órdenes y a la disposición de coordinación académica. Necesitaba para su hijo, me decía, ¿verdad? Claro, sí, 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 es fuertecito esto, la verdad. Entonces, sí, sí. Entonces, puede comunicarse con el licenciado José y cualquier información o cualquier novedad igual me puede escribir a mí. Listo. So, this is it for today and I'll see you on Monday, right? Yeah. Bye bye. Have a good night and have a nice weekend. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Bye bye.